Hey, this is Barry, and in this video I'm going to show you a way to make your refrigerator, your small refrigerator, last much longer. Now this is a 1.7 cubic foot refrigerator that you can buy, like for example at Walmart. And the problem with these is sometimes they don't seem to last that long, and I found out why. And I figured out a way to make these last about as long as a regular refrigerator that you would normally have in your house. And it has to do with corrosion of the coolant lines at the back. And this next refrigerator I'm about to show you, I can get to the back of it and show you where the lines fail. Whoa, that's not a refrigerator. Oh. Okay, this is the back of a very similar refrigerator, the same size. It's white instead of black. And right here, if you can see that rusty line, that's one of the refrigerant lines where it's soldered into part of the system here. And I don't know if it's the solder they use to solder these lines together at the connections or what, but where you have condensation, it tends to rust and then leak out the refrigerant. And some of these corrode up and leak the refrigerant out in a short period of time, just a few years. So what I've found is that if you get some anti-corrosion grease, it's a type of compound that is used a lot with electrical connections, and it doesn't dry out like regular automotive grease. And you can smear this on the tubings at the connections, and it'll stop this from happening. And I've got a small refrigerator like the black one I just showed you that I've been using that refrigerator. I believe it's been about 10 years now, and it still works great. The freezer will still freeze things. It may last another 10 years. But this refrigerator here we're looking at, it only lasted about 1.5 years before it leaked the coolant out, and that was the end of it. And these are so cheap, you just go buy another one. I think you can get one of these this size at Walmart, 1.7 cubic foot. I believe they're I think they're about $75, something like that. They may have gone up a little bit since then. Next, I will show you applying the grease to the tubing on a refrigerator that we have that we want to last a very long time. This is a 7.3 cubic foot refrigerator for my daughter's tiny home, and we don't want to have any problems out of it in the future. So and this is the electrical connection anti-corrosion grease, and maybe you can see that, but this is the type of grease I've been using for years on this and other things, and it doesn't seem to dry up like automotive grease. Maybe you can see that, but it's Burndy brand, Penetrox electrical joint compound. Okay, now it seems like although this refrigerator is brand new and it's never been used, I have seen this before where you get a brand new one and it appears to already have a little corrosion. Yeah, it appears to already have some corrosion. Even though apparently they had put this black coating to try to stop the corrosion, it still came through before it even was purchased. There's like a little right there too. But it won't be doing that anymore after I put this on there. Okay, you just apply it liberally around the joints here. This is a copper tube on this one, but I believe it may be steel where it goes into the compressor side. But that one there is definitely a steel tubing. And imagine you wouldn't want to work this too close to the compressor because the compressor can get pretty warm during operation. And this tubing right here is also a steel tubing. I've done this on several refrigerators and never had any of them go out. And although some of the steel tubing is going up into the case there where you can't really get to it, I would try to get it completely covered as much as you can. But mainly where I've noticed most of this corrosion taking place is right at the connections. That's why I have a sneaking suspicion that it's something corrosive in the solder where they make these connections. Although, like the old refrigerator I showed you earlier, the rust extended out past where it was soldered together. But as long as you get this grease on there fairly thoroughly, it shouldn't be able to corrode like that anymore. Yeah, there's a little corrosion on this one as well. As long as you get the surface covered with this grease, and don't leave any bare places, it should be corrosion resistant for years. You may, every so many years, maybe every 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, whatever, want to come back and make sure nothing has rubbed some of the grease off. I have a small refrigerator in my tiny home, and I've put this on there. I don't expect to ever have any problems with that refrigerator, but I just wanted to show you this tip for making your small refrigerator last longer. I don't know if it's that they use better tube and connector solder on the larger regular house refrigerators, but I've noticed these smaller refrigerators seem to have a problem with leaking their refrigerant out, and it always goes back to corroding tubings on the back. And I haven't had any problems with any of the ones I've ever put this on, but I just wanted to show you this little tip. Like I said, I got a small refrigerator that I've had running. It's been in use for 10 years, and it's never had any problems. I expect it to still be working perfectly fine like new in another 10 years. That's probably kind of a record for a small, cheap refrigerator, but most of the problems I've encountered from other people talking about these smaller refrigerators is it just simply corrodes at these connections and leaks out the refrigerant is the main complaint I've heard. Hopefully this will help some people out, and that's the name of the game is if you buy a refrigerator, I'm sure a lot of you have found, like I have, appliances just don't seem to last like they used to, especially washing machines. But this hopefully will help you make your small refrigerator last a very long time. Thank you for watching.